I'm about to walk into a shop with multiple saws. They have requested that we come take a look at their equipment. I honestly don't have a lot of clue on what we have with each piece. I believe it's up to 4 saws. But again, I'm walking in relatively blind. So I'm Jeremy with I Machine Services. I have over 20 years servicing band saws. If you guys would be gracious enough to leave comments on down below, so you can let me know what kind of information, what kind of videos you would love to see in the future. But I'm about to go in here blind, and then I'm going to report back when we're done and kind of give you an idea of what to look for, what you're going to see when you walk into a shop, as far as issues I find, recommendations, as well as follow-ups. So please stay tuned, and we thank you so much. Okay, so I finished the assessment on the 4 machines. Customer had several pieces of equipment, but they asked me to look at 4 of them. So I finished, and I'm driving back now. So what we found, I'm going to call them saws 1 through 4. On saw 1, they complained about the guide arm not being able to move back and forth. So they have a hydraulic saw, and I troubleshot the hydraulic system. The hydraulics were working, but they were not getting any kind of signal. So I started checking the PLC, and the PLC was not receiving anything. So the next step on that is I'm going to have to call the manufacturer, get a schematic, because they didn't have a schematic on hand, and we're going to have to do some preliminary troubleshooting basically at the shop so that we can figure out what we're going to do the next steps. We might have a bad PLC. We might have a bad, it has a touchscreen computer, might have a bad touchscreen computer. So we'll have ways to look at that. Saw number 2, what we found on saw 2 had quite a few things. They're complaining about bad cutting. What I found, and this was a major thing, was their blade was on backwards. So the blade was not facing the correct direction. It was facing the incorrect direction on the wheels. Okay, and that's a big no-no, and that causes lots and lots of problems. Because of that, they wore out both their wheels. Those either need to get machined, which machining usually is not the only fix, or they need to get replaced on the wheels. Number 2, we need to track it once we put the blade on correctly. And it might not be possible because the wheels are damaged. Okay, the next thing is that saw had a lot of small things. We had a loose clamp. We had a a cylinder that was making a lot of noise. So maybe the cylinders need to be rebuilt on the feed system because they were making a really loud sound when we actuate it in one direction, which makes me think maybe it's blowing by. Trying to think what else we had. Also, we had some weird controls. The previous companies had basically, I call them Frankenstein. They had make it work, but they basically bypassed start switches, different things like that. So that's stuff that I would like to fix if the customer will allow me. Different things like that. Okay, saw 3. Saw 3 did not want to attempt to power on, and guess what we found? Saw 3 was missing its PLC. Just a bunch of loose wires. It was actually kind of comical. There wasn't a lot I could do until we get a new PLC. There's nothing else to troubleshoot. And I don't know if the customers want to go down that road because of the age of saw. Saw's probably 20 plus years old, maybe 10 years old. I'll have to look at the name tag and see what the age is. Saw 4. Saw 4 was mostly running. They did not know much about it as far as what they wanted. I did find what I call smooth wheels. So most time the idle and drive wheel where the band goes on, they have ridges cut in them. And that's to allow the coolant to leave. Okay, and so that is to prevent hydroplaning type of thing. You don't want there to be a buildup between the coolant or other stuff, and you want those lines in there to help. So they were smooth. So either those need to get remachined or replaced. Most likely replaced unless they have high ability machining, different things like that. I believe also their blade brush need to be replaced. Not a big deal. I noticed they had an aftermarket motor, which is not a big deal, but I did not necessarily like the way the gearbox sounded. There's nothing I could put my finger on, but it had just a little distortion as far as the way it just sounded right to me. So that's something I told the customer we're going to keep an eye on. That saw is ready to run. And so what we want to do on that one is they want to put their blade on it, get their material. They're going to want to make some cuts and see what they found. The problem I did find is they did not have an ability to adjust the blade speed, which is a big issue. So that is on this machine, on saw 4, is a potentiometer. And that is an electrical way to adjust this excuse me, to adjust the speed. And so that's something that they're going to want to look at doing. Some customers will just run saws into the ground. And so again, it's just going to depend on what the customer wants to do. I'm there to provide options and opinions as well as my expertise, but I don't necessarily get to, tell them which direction to go. But that's what I found. If this was helpful, please hit like and subscribe. More bandsaw content is coming. Drop a comment. What type of saw are you running? What kind of shop you're in, as well as what kind of material you're cutting. If you're in the Gulf Coast region and need your bandsaw service, please give us a call or shoot us an email. I Machine Services in Houston, Texas. We travel where you need us. Links are below. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.